But today, slave cylinder, I'm going to show you exactly where it is. It's quite simple. The hardest part is bleeding it, and it's actually on the driver's side. If you jack this side up, it's right underneath. It's quite easy to see. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to get the car jacked up, and we're going to get under there. Alright guys, so directly under the driver's side door, exhaust. Here's the transmission. These are your oxygen sensors, your O2 sensors right here, and that's your slave cylinder. There's the hose, and as you can see, it's directly below the header, so it's exposed to some pretty serious heat. My only concern today with changing this is the hose. If you look up there, right, you can see how rusty that connection is. Now, the line comes down, and this is on the end, and then this piece screws right into the end here, as you can see. But it was so rusted that usually the line, when you take this off, the line spins inside there, and it didn't spin, and it just twisted and broke the line. And as you can see right here, the slave cylinder is off. These are the bolts right here. Let's pull these out real quick. And let's slide this bad boy in there. So, as you can see, the hose just goes up there, and this goes right here. So it goes in just like that, it sits right there, and the hose goes up, and that's the line that broke right there. You know, you can't really see it, but right where my finger is, it just snapped right off. So I gotta cut a clean edge, taper the end, and we'll be good to go. So I'm just gonna get this bolted in, and that's gonna finish it up for today. Alright guys, so I decided to run down and get the tool. I actually have the tool. I can't find these little fittings right here. And for a dual flare, for a brake line, you need this tool right here. So I'm going to just go through how to fix it, get it all squared away before the end of this video. Alright guys, so I'm going to show you real quick how to do a flare on a brake line or a clutch line. It's super simple. So I got the fitting on there because it's in a bend. That was why I had to cut it back so far to over here, was because I didn't have enough down here to get the fitting on and then get this on to do the flare. So what you do is, say the end is cut just like that one, a flat end. You put it through. There's two different sides on this. There's a side with a beveled edge, and then there's a flat side. You want to make sure it's on the side with the beveled edge. Usually it's got the numbers. Make sure it's in the correct size hole. This is a 3/16 brake line. Now I already have the bubble. When you get a brake line, it's got the bubble flare on it already. And now some brake lines and hydraulic lines call for a bubble flare, but this is a double flare. And in order to do a double flare, you have to start with a bubble flare. Now, a bubble flare looks just like that. So it's like a little bubble area. Sorry if it's not focusing too well. It's just got a little, it pushes the end of the line down into a bubble. Now just imagine this piece is inside there with a clean end, like so. Now what you do is you take the corresponding one of these. This is a 3/16 piece. Lubricate it with a little bit of brake fluid, and when it's in there with the clean end, you put this inside there, like so, and then this piece right here goes on it like that, and you tighten it down when it's on there. As you can see, I got the little fitting in there, I got the clamp around it, and then there's a spot where the point of the puller, or the clamp, goes into the little black piece. And you just tighten it down, not super tight, just until you feel it stop. It doesn't have to, you don't have to kill it, because you'll crack the line. Now if you're curious on how much to stick the line through, what you do is you take this guy right here, and as you're putting the line through, you see that first edge right there, you stick it up until the brake line meets that first corner, and that's how much you need sticking out. So this right here, just this thickness right here, you stick it until you get this edge right here. Now that that's done, you'll have a bubble just like there is there. Now that's not the final step. What you got to do now, alright, so, and to get this on, if you're curious, you just take it, slide it on like that, and then around. So now we start tightening it down, and make sure it's nice and centered. It's not quite tight yet, and now it's tight, but it's not going anywhere, but it's not bending anything. And then you just keep it nice and straight, and crimp it down. Alright, so now that the line is all done, I can come up here, and if there was still fluid in here, I'd want to drain it out, but there's not. So as you can see in the bottom, I started to clean it out, but a lot of the time there's buildup that happens in there, and you're definitely going to want to get it out. I think it's just, you know, like breakdown from the fluid and stuff like that. So I'm just gonna get in there with it's a screwdriver and a towel, and just wipe it out real good. Then I'm gonna fill it up, and hopefully get this thing bled out real nice. So alright guys, so that's gonna conclude this one, because I just went to bleed the clutch and I couldn't bleed it. So after doing some diagnosing, I need a new master cylinder, because one, when I crack the bleeder on the slave cylinder, nothing comes out. So the fluid's not flowing the way it should, one. And two, when I tried to pump the clutch the way you're supposed to when you bleed it, it's very similar to the way you do brakes. It's exact same thing. You pump it until you get some pressure, you hold it, crack the bleeder, keep holding it, tighten it. Once it's tightened, then you let go of the clutch. You need two people to do it. And after going through, it wasn't pumping up enough, so I checked the master cylinder and I adjusted it all the way out, and it's still not enough pedal. It goes about halfway in before moving any fluid. So that tells me that the master cylinder is not completely bad, but it's bad. Because once I drew out the adjustment, it got better, but then it's just still not enough. And I watched the piston go in and out, and you can't feel any pressure until it goes about halfway in, because if you look underneath where the pedal is, you can see the part that goes inside the master cylinder. So I just ordered that, and that's going to be here in a few days. along with the plugs. So we're gonna wrap this one up for today, and then in the next one we'll be putting in the master cylinder, bleeding out all of the clutch, and hopefully going for a first ride, because as soon as I can square away the clutch and the misfire, which the plug should be here in the next day or so, should be here before the master cylinder, get the misfire taken care of. And today I'm actually going to plug up this exhaust, but it's nothing major, so I'm not even going to bother videoing it. You'll see when we start up and go for the first ride. And also, I'm just plugging up this exhaust for now to get it through emissions, and then in the next few weeks we're going to be putting on a full stainless exhaust, so be sure to stay tuned for that. And yeah, we're gonna have some fun in this thing, so be sure to smash that little red subscribe button and give your boy a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Till next time, peace out, and never stop the hustle.